Yes guys, we are back on the T-Roc R in today's video and the rebuild gets underway, and I've got some interesting developments since the last video. With the help of you guys as well in the comments, found out a little bit more about the car, not from anyone else, just a little bit more investigation. So first thing to know, I've just had a mini heart attack. I've just got a piece of trim that comes with the car, and when I ordered it, they said it comes body colour, so I was like, sweet, this little bit of trim comes in the correct colour for the car. Just turned up and it's in iridium grey. And I've just had a panic going, oh my God, I've got a cloned car. Yeah, you know, I've just gone through all the motions thinking, oh no, the car that I've got listed should be grey, which means it's cloned, wrong car. I've been even more stitched up than I thought. But panic over, I've just checked all through the chassis numbers, they're all fine. Even checked the engine number, which matches what's on history for it. So luckily, I'm satisfied the car is legit and it is what it is. Just phoned up the dealer, and for some reason, they all come in iridium grey. And if your car isn't grey, paint it to whatever colour your car is. So it's really weird why they just didn't send it in primer. But there we go, so we've got to repaint that Lapis blue. So that's that panic over. And yeah, the next few things that I found out since the last video. And the first thing is, if I just get the key. Right, the key has this peg on it. Now, I know for a fact that these pegs are used at main dealers. Because I used to work at main dealers, so they use these pegs when they put keys on keyboards. So I believe this has come from at least a really high up dealer, but probably main dealer. And the other thing I didn't mention in the last video is it is a VAT qualifying car, which means it was definitely owned by a company, more than likely a leasing company. So I think what's happened is it's gone out on lease, the person's had it, they've either fallen behind their payments or for some other reason given the car back. I don't know the reason, I'm just speculating, but they've obviously crashed and tried to bodge, hide the damage, giving it back to the leasing company. The leasing company have had a quick look over it and gone, yeah, it's fine, whatever. But then they've realised that there's actually some hidden damage. It's gone off to Volkswagen to be quoted on, and they've said, yeah, it needs thousands of thousands spending on it, and the leasing company have probably gone, no, bugger that, we'll just send it to Copart. So I probably think that is what has happened. And the other thing to note is that everyone thinks the car was underwater because of just how much mud is on here, but I have a theory to dispel that. Well, not dispel it, but prove that it was crashed before that, because this is obviously a new bumper and it's still covered in mud. So whatever happened, mud-wise, happened after the crash. So yeah, I don't think that's an issue. And the last thing is, everyone mentioned the tyres, and yes, they are very much worn for 5k, 5.5k, but I guess being a lease car, it just might have been driven hard all its life. I have checked, all 4 tyres are all matching, all Bridgestones. They are the tyres that left the factory with. So yeah, I'm confident that it's probably just been driven hard, and a set of tyres on this would probably only last 8 to 9k anyway, and there's what, 3 mil left on them at a touch, so not a million miles off, just probably driven hard. And also, now I know that this tyre is the original tyre off the car, I also know that the impact wasn't that bad enough to affect the suspension or wheels either. So the second round of investigating is now over. We can now crack on and get this thing repaired. So I'll just quickly show you what I've got. Full wheel arch liner. We've got our body part here, which we'll be replacing for that damaged bit there. We've got our wheel arch trim and that little bit of iridium grey that's going to stick on there. We have our shroud for the bumper. We have our bracket for the additional cooler. We have our bumper bracket as well, which is missing. We've got a connector for the LED light, which is going to replace, and also the washer jet pump, which was broken. And in that box there, we should have our DRL. I think we'll be pretty much up to date with everything. For those of you who said replace the wing, I've bought a second-hand wing, a genuine wing off eBay, which should be here in the next few days. So once we get that, then there'll be no patent parts on the car. Everything will then be a genuine Volkswagen part. I do agree, the car's a year old with low mileage, it should really have new genuine parts on it. So when that comes, obviously that'll be painted along with the bonnet, that'll be repainted, and a little bit of the wing fixed at the back there as well. And yes, everyone noticed that these were new as well. Yeah, they are both new. I might also get them painted at the same time just to match everything up. The bonnet is a genuine bonnet, so that's fine there. I don't know if that's been replaced fully or just been repaired. I don't really know. But right, yeah, let's get it on the ramp and start cracking on. And obviously we're going to tackle this bit here first. And also we noticed the engine cover missing, and now someone's kindly put in the comments that there was actually a problem at the factory and a lot of cars have been released into the public without engine covers fitted, and there is a TPI to actually start replacing them once cars start going in for service. So I'm glad that also that's not missing for a particular reason. So we're going to start off by removing the scuttle panel here, which means we need to remove the wiper arms as well. Need to remove this trim to then start working on this bit here. And actually I found an area which I'm going to cut into, which is spot on. Now if you see this line here, look, it's actually weirdly they've been fused together, and it's just, I don't know why, but there's just two bits and they've been fused together on this line here. Now the new one also is exactly the same, look, it's been fused together here. So that is my perfect cutting point, so I'm going to cut it off here and yeah, basically just do exactly what the factory bit is and just weld it onto here, and obviously we'll have our new bit on the end there. We don't need the rest, so happy about that. So that is what we're going to do first. I've already noticed one thing I've missed off, and I just went to remove the wiring for the washer jets to take the bonnet off, and I've noticed I've been mugged off. I've got no washer jets, so that's another sort of 70 quid I'm going to have to add to the bill for 2 new heated washer jets. But let's just remove the bonnet. I think that's probably going to be easiest for now, because I want to paint these hinges anyway just to make it look a bit better. So potentially found a bit more, it's not more damage, but they've covered up the damage again. I've just loads of filler, look, and you can actually see the actual damage here. So they've just put loads of filler over the top here to make it look like it was obviously the right height and the right piece, but I'm just finding out how much filler's in here. So I need to now pick that back to try and work out, oh God, I can't believe how much filler's in there. So after chipping away at all the filler, it reveals the actual panel, and yeah, it's all bent up as you would imagine. But what I don't understand is they've gone to so much trouble to try and fill this out and make it look good. It would have probably been easier to actually replace it like what I'm doing, and then it'll be proper then, which, so yeah, a bit of an odd one, but now I've got the exposed actual part, I can now drill out all the spot welds up to here, and then we'll cut this little section out. So we've removed this outer section here, and that's now revealed the small inner section, and we can see this is damaged as well. Now it's not massively damaged, it's just a little bit crumpled here on the end. That cutout there is actually is meant to be like that. Now I can buy this little section here, again I can just cut it in, but it's quite intricate. It welds to the little bracket here that keeps the engine mount in around the back, and it also attaches to the wheelhouse housing, strut housing as well. So I don't really want to mess around with it if I don't have to. So I may just try and see what I can get. If I straighten it up the best I can and just see what that looks like for now, and then if it doesn't look great, then obviously yeah, we'll replace it. Yeah, I've tried moving this around and I've got it back into a sort of shape, but it's always going to look crap. So I am just going to replace it. I mean, if we just put the new part on like this, look, can see it's roughly in position there. And if you just look at the gap there, look, it's just crap. So I'm just going to replace this part as well, so I need to order that. Also, I need to order something else I've forgotten now. What was it? There's a bracket that's missing that actually bolts to the bottom half of here and it goes to the front of the wing. That's just completely missing on this side, so I need to order that as well, along with the front washer jets. So what I'm going to do now, I kind of can't do any more annoyingly on that, so I'm going to concentrate and get this rad back in position with that bracket, and then try and hook all the electrical side of it back up and see if we can get a clean bill of health on that. And if not, try and work out what's going on, because body wise I'm about stuck. They must have uprated them because they're quite different, although they're the exact same part number. 1K6955 65. Yeah, is that 651? Yeah, 651. So after fitting the bracket twice already, I realised that the hoses for the radiator have to go actually through the bracket, so I've got to disconnect them. But once disconnected, managed to not lose any coolant and refitted it all fine, although I found out that I need 3 rubber grommets to hold the radiator to stop it from vibrating. Right, I've just plugged everything electrical back in, so I've replugged in that headlight, plugged in the new DRL, the existing DRL, and they're both now plugged in, so they should hopefully work. We just need to test that. Plugged in the adaptive sensor as well, which is behind the VW badge. So now I'm just going to turn on the ignition and go through the codes and see if we have anything that changes. So let's just double check that DRL works. Yep, sweet. Yep, cool. New DRL all working, headlights working. So that's everything electrical, I believe, plugged in. So let's just start the computer back up and see if we're still getting the same codes as before. So I've popped back in after the weekend and I spent some time in the driver's seat on Friday evening, around about an hour, trying to go through the computer, trying to get this steering angle to basic set. And I've actually come to the conclusion that the car is too new for the equipment that I have. So when I try and open all the control modules, it's not giving me any options to do any basic settings for anything. And yeah, I just think that's because the car is only a year old and my software doesn't support that yet. So I need to look into what we can do with that. I am just going to try the old school way, and I've just put taken everything off, and I'm going to drive up and down the drive, and hopefully it might basic set on its own. I don't know, that's my last chance at the moment before I end up having to buy some new software to try and rectify it. But I just thought I'd talk through quickly what I've had to now order additionally. So I've just tied up some parts as well, so we're going to go through exactly what I've spent so far in a moment on the old whiteboard, but I have just ordered some new parts. This inner section here I've ordered, so it's going to replace this. Weirdly, 60 quid. So it only goes up to, I think, about here. So obviously we're going to cut it into here, same as this one. So then that'll be all replaced. I've ordered also, because I don't know if I showed you, but where our new one goes on. So where our new one sits on, look, it was just all way out, look. So just replacing that is the best way to do it. I've also ordered the new half scuttle panel there, the grommets for the radiator because it needs grommets so it's loose. I've also ordered a bonnet cable because look what I did when I was cutting the old one, the old bracket. I managed to bloody slice through the bonnet cable, so luckily that was only 20 quid, so I ordered a new one of those. I've also ordered 2 new washer jets because they were missing. And that second order comes to £225. So let's just go over to the whiteboard and chalk up what I've done so far. So we'll start off our list with a car price of just under £20,000. Now the first parts batch that I ordered came to, don't know if you can see it there, look, £816. So we're up to just over £1,000 so far, 1,100 quid. Now we are going to also need a windscreen, which is going to be circa 200, 250. We're going to need 2 front tyres, but I'm not going to include that because that's a serviceable item, tyres, so I'm not going to include those. And the only other thing we may need is the headlight and paint. So the headlight isn't actually as expensive as you think, because I don't need the control unit, so I just need the bare light, so that might not be too bad if we do need it. So paint, I'm going to guess, is about 500-600 quid. So yeah, we're getting up towards the £2,000 mark. So yeah, Lots of guesses in the comments in the last video, around 2 to 3 grand I think, and I think it is going to be in that ballpark, but still well under our trade value of 30 so far. Oh, and we've got the wing and the battery as well. Always forget parts, so add them on too. Now, these are all the faults that the steering angle sensor is causing havoc with, 15 of them. Right, so tyre pressure, yep. Headlight range control, I think that just needs basic settings, but as I said, my computer won't do it. Park distance control, yeah, that's because, yeah, okay, the vehicle light and dip beam, that's because they're all unplugged. But we have the ESC, hill start assist, lane assist, front assist. They are all not working because of the steering angle. So, and also we've got the squiggly traction line, exclamation mark on the dash, the lane assist mark as well, and the TPMS light as well. So they are all to do with the steering angle sensor. So I'm now just going to drive up and down the drive and fingers crossed try and get this to code out. And my locking wheel key that I guessed just by looking at pictures and my locking wheel key in there, ordered it, took a punt, and she is the right one, so really happy with that. So let's just whip this wheel off now and just see if there's any more damage, because I have just taken up the road and no, the light did not self-clear. I mean, I've done a mile up and down, I went twice, I even got up to about 30 miles an hour, left to right, loads of times, has not taken away that basic steering angle, basic setting basically. Also, I did notice on that little drive that the steering wheel does tilt slow, or does aim slightly to the left, so there is a bit of a tracking issue. So yeah, also taking this wheel off, we might be able to see maybe a little bit of a bent steering arm. I do not know. So yeah, let's just get that off and have a look. So I've had a good look round the wheel well area and steering arm, everything. Everything is still factory and I can't see any damage or anything like that. So I'm fairly happy that it maybe have just been a bit of a knock and it just needs the tracking readjusting. I mean, it all looks fine to me. And as I said, the steering wheel was a couple of degrees out. I probably only noticed it because I was looking for it. So yeah, I think I've shown you the underneath anyway, but it's all fairly as you'd expect. It's not like, it doesn't look like it's been sat in water or been through a flood or anything like that. It is still all clean. You've just got a little bit of rust on the nuts here, but otherwise everything else is good. And all these, the rear tires as well, weirdly, even though it's a full drive, I know it's full drive only when required, but the rear tires are still on like six-ish mil. So frustratingly, that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I've come to a bit of a halt again. I need more parts and software basically to rectify the faults we've got. However, we are well underway on repairing it and I'm satisfied that the damage isn't too bad in the end. So in the next video, guys, we'll be finishing it off fully, probably bar the paint, but everything else is going to get fitted and we're going to sort out those lights. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is the headlight range control. Hopefully it'll just be a case of basic settings again. So once I get proper software that can basic set the steering angle sensor and also the headlight range control, and then we should get a clean bill of health on the electric side. And also, yeah, just finishing everything else. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one where the T-Roc is going to be completely done. I'm confident. Cheers, guys.